Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you guys coming up. First thing I want to do is I just want to reach out to the Starks family who couldn't be with us this morning, but I just want to continue to ask the community to keep them in their prayers as they're going through this difficult time with the loss of their son, their brother, and loved one. It's just a permanent piece of their lives. They'll never be taken back. Also want to acknowledge up here with me today is some of the detective division. These guys, since this happened on Sunday morning, have been working diligently. Like last night, they were here till 2 in the morning. So they worked all hours of the day and the night to make sure that we bring some type of closure for this family. It won't bring the family member back, but it'll give them a little bit of closure into this tragic incident. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank these guys and how hard they worked. I know they've put in 16-hour days since this incident occurred. Also want to acknowledge Jack Logan, who's here with us from Put the Guns Down Young People. Mr. Logan works with us on a constant basis to help us combat some of these senseless acts of violence between the community and the police and bring us all together. So this incident occurred on 5/23/2021, approximately 2 in the morning. The victim in this case is Antone Sparks. Mr. Sparks was out in front of his apartment complex when he was approached by the suspect. The suspect then and him got engaged in a verbal type of altercation, which turned physical, at which time the suspect in this case pulled out a handgun and actually fired and struck the victim in this case multiple times, and the victim was taken to Self-Regional Health Care, and then he was pronounced dead there at the hospital. So the detective division has arrested a Kavius Isaiah White. He's a 19-year-old male that lives right here in Greenwood, 201 Hilliard Street. He was arrested last night. He is currently being held at the Greenwood County Detention Center on several charges to include possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, pointing and presenting a firearm, murder, armed robbery, and unlawful carrying of a pistol. And he will be arraigned later this morning for a bond set through the city judge. So it's one of these cases where, man, it's just a tough case. You know, we want to do everything possible to stop the violence that happens in our community. This is our first homicide of the year and hopefully our last, but it's just it's a senseless act of violence. And, you know, and we're going to do everything we can to protect our community. We have great citizens here and great community, and we definitely appreciate the community's help in this case. The long hours, the hard work in the community is what solved this case. We're not going to go to a bunch of details about the case because the case is still pending. It's still pending in General Sessions Court. The solicitor hadn't even got the case yet, and we still have a lot of evidence that has to be processed and put through. So we're about 3/4 done with the case, but we have more than enough evidence to know that Mr. White was our shooter. I can also tell you that there's a possibility of other arrests being made, but we believe and have knowledge that Mr. White is the actual shooter in this case, and he is the one actually charged with murder. All right, I'll take any questions. Again, they'll have to be brief because we're not going into the details about the case, but I will try to answer anything that don't interfere with the case.
Is there any information connecting Mr. White and the victim?
It looks like right now it was a robbery, and it was a robbery that went wrong. That he approached him in reference to getting some items from him, and then when that didn't happen, then it turned into a robbery. Anybody else?
Did the shooter know the female that was involved or that had gone into the apartment?
He did not. So when he first approached the female, which is the girlfriend to the victim, she went inside to change, and when she heard the gunshot, she came running back and then seen the aftermath of it.
What information about this case suggests that there might be other arrests?
Well, I'm not going to go into that detail right now, but other people have knowledge of what happened and didn't come forward or tried to avoid that in a way. So we're looking at those cases too.
Can you tell us how you know specifically that he is the shooter?
Well, he did give us a confession during the interrogation, but all the evidence also is pointing directly to him.
How did you guys find out where he was?
Well, he actually, we knew where he lived, so we did a search warrant on the house, and then his parents his mother called him and told him we were looking for him. And then he made contact with us, and then he was arrested last night.
Did you find the weapon?
We have recovered a couple weapons, but we don't know if it's the murder weapon or not.
What helped you identify him as the shooter?
Well, I mean, we just had some community come forward and help us out with that. So we won't go into details about what exactly was said and what we were told, but that kind of led us that direction.
And I know you guys reached out to the community for some help. What was the volume of tips like coming forward in this case?
There actually wasn't, we didn't get a lot of tips. There was a lot of rumors, as usual, when we had these cases going around on social media and Facebook. But those are things that we still have to check out and make sure. So we had a lot of those coming across and us trying to run those down, which is not good because then it ties up our detectives, you know, running cases that's just people's making up or what they heard, and then technically it just comes to a dead end.
I know you said that, you said he made contact with you guys, so did he turn himself in? Did he
That
go
is correct.
peacefully?
That is correct. Once we conducted a search warrant on his residence, we was at his residence, his mother made contact with him and told him we were there looking for him, and then he came and found us.
Does he have any prior criminal record?
I don't know if he has any prior criminal records. He's only 19, so anything before, you know, that. So I'm not sure what all he had before that. If it is, it's nothing that stood out to us. All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Good to see you, Jack.
Have you sent that out already? You sent the picture out already? No, John.